Hello and welcome. It is the 5th day of November 2019. My name is Derek. Like always, all bets, trades, and of the like, with each his own risk and their own reward. Taking a look at Bitcoin dominance, Litecoin, and three games that I want to talk about. One for tonight's hockey and two for the NFL this weekend. All right, so a lot of the sideways action on Bitcoin hanging in there within a rising 18 average of highs, but for it to remain in that, which is rising 18 highs, it has to keep grinding its way higher. Very rare it would do something specific like that, but we got this level of resistance established yesterday, and it's still within this range bound market. Really, not much more to say because when I take a look at Litecoin, it's obviously been it's had a larger decline lately, but it's actually got a setup that might state that it's going to go higher. But before we do that, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. It's down today about a half a percent or so, 0.56 to 69.3. Down to the 18 average of lows. Okay, volatility for what it was worth, but overall still not that big. And we're still, again, waiting on the decision, at least I'm waiting on it, from this move in here. If this is going to be a real move or a failed move, and I need to see failure amongst the 18 lows, and it's just now testing it for the first time. So it's a continuation of the wait and see game. Now moving on to Litecoin. And first off, against the dollar. Got some key Fibonacci lines in here. This is a 76.4% retracement from, actually 23 up. This is 23% up from this low, and the high of like 400, and then 38.2, 61.8%. It didn't come down this line with its last move. Okay. One of those rare situations as I look at it. But the setup from this failed breakdown in here, going down below 51-ish or so, 52, that managed to go down to 47. Seeing this fast move, and it's been supporting in here from the first day on the breakout, like October 27th, all the way up to yesterday, and definitely the day before, supporting this upper area of resistance in here. But I like how yesterday's session is getting above the 18 average of highs like it is. So to me, it looks like the possibilities for a breakout here. I like because of the setup seems more probable than normal. And when viewing it against BTC, again, as I've been stating since this down move in here, a significant 3x decline. And really not much for attempting to revert the trend as far as 18 average of highs. It resisted in here, band flattening out, but that's about as everything, all that was done there. Attempt to have a move in here, failed breakout, no fast move after that. At least not much, not really, no. I mean, this was an okay move, I guess. And another test right now as it has managed to get out above the 18 average of highs. A little bit one in here. That one did have a failed breakdown. So we'll see another attempt for the possibility on reversal of trend. In viewing the triple hour term, here is this little big area for this whole range area where it came from. Another way of putting it, it's really where you need the must hold area that you'd want to see it have if there's going to be retracement back. It's already came up to this previous level of resistance in here. This move in here came up to the support. We can see it got above it. So whether this move is done and it might come up to this resistance or further higher on a big move, that time will only tell. The verdict, I guess, is always in on that. And talk about verdict or such like this, at least as market goes, I mean, it's an ongoing trial of market movement. It just never stops. And especially when you look at things like the 1 hour and 3 hour charts, you can get so many different short term setups that are going to reappear over and over, and multiple bullish and bearish setups over a good sample period of time. And on to some sports. I'm making an all in profit bet tonight, which means all of my profits that I've had so far over the last several weeks and months is going to be placed on one game tonight. What do we got here? Ottawa Islanders, Carolina Philly, nothing there. Los Angeles Toronto, I think John Tavares is going to be back from injury in this game. But it is on the Boston Bruins hosting the Montreal, no, excuse me, going to Montreal to take on the Les Canadiens. And they have Montreal as a minus 115 favorite, Boston minus 105. Really? You're trying to tell me Montreal deserves to be favored? Boston has won about 5 or 6 consecutive games in a row, all of them by multiple goals. They did play last night, but They also played very well last last game. This is the second time this year with back to back on the road, or period for that matter. Last year in back to back road spots, they had a lot of one goal wins. But for me, I'm just going to take a simple money line bet on the Boston Bruins. If I lose, don't expect much more for picks moving forward. If I win, well, I'll double up my balance. So my profits will double moving forward. So that's that for the NFL. Oh, there's a couple bad teams here. Good game, St. Louis, Vancouver. Arizona, Calgary. That's an interesting game. Arizona, I mentioned yesterday how great Ranto was, and every single game last year between Edmonton and Arizona who played last year was like 2-2 in regulation or 3-2. Last night, same thing. 2-2 in Arizona, won 3-2 in overtime. NFL. Every game that I passed on yesterday, I pretty much won. I was going to bet on under 2.5 goals for Edmonton. I should have, but I passed. Okay, so for two games next week, the first one is Baltimore at Cincinnati. Now, one of the things that I've been mentioning the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to be talking contrary to this one, is how I trust good teams off of bye weeks. Because Baltimore coming off a bye week against New England was fantastic, and I trusted them because of that. And then before that, it was Cleveland coming off a bye week, a terrible team, and I didn't trust them, and well, they were bad. Well, yeah, they were bad. Now we have Cincinnati coming off a bye week. They're 0-8 against a 6-2 Ravens team. There's a lot of things I like about this game, but there was a time back around 2001 or 2002. I can remember it was a newspaper or a magazine. I think it was written by Greg Dempson of the Winner's Edge at the time. And it was talking about an NFL system. And the system is, at least up to around 2001 and 2, and it did pretty good after that. Because I remember betting on the Oakland Raiders that night. The Raiders were a winless team. Or they were the team that were playing against the winless team. Because I remember the Raiders were involved that night. And even after that, it worked out a couple more times. But the play is to play a winless team, an 0-4 team with that. I think it's at least, it's got to be at least 4 losses, but it's definitely around 6. But at 8, most certainly, it's the larger the record, apparently, the stronger it is. As of up to like 2001, teams with like an 0 for record were something like 8-0 or 9-1 or something like that against the spread. I don't know what the record is since then. We also got the Baltimore Ravens team who are coming on a letdown spot. A situation in which they go into a game like they did last week with full energy, full want, full need, as the Patriots obviously would have been on the opponent. As the opponent, they came out, they executed their game plan, they were exactly at that. And now it's like, ah, man, the Cincinnati Bengals. So I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore finds a way to maybe win this game by single digits or something in that nature. But the play at plus 10, not gonna. I can't say I'm not gonna play it. I mean, if Montreal wins tonight, I most certainly won't. But the play at plus 10 is an interesting one to say the least. Next one, and we're going to be traveling to Cleveland, as the Buffalo Bills are taking on the Cleveland Browns in the dog pound. You know, dogs are my favorite animal, I would have to think. And I mean, I know it's got nothing to do with it, but this is an animal that you mentioned they'll just let you take the beatings at any times. It almost seems you just beat it, but not that should be done anyway. But I guess if you're talking about the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills, I don't mind if they beat up on the Browns. I like the Buffalo Bills as a 3-point underdog. I think the wrong team is favored here. We have a 6-2 team against a 2-6 team. Just taking the points. If you were to only take the points over the last 40 years, no, over the last 30 years with the Browns, over those 9 or 10, 11 games, and I'm sarcastic when I say 9, 10, 11. But what I'm not sarcastic about is if you were to just take a look at Cleveland's history as a favorite, period, it probably isn't so good. At least since the drive and the fumble of the mid to late 1980s when the Cleveland Browns lost twice to the Giants in the Bernie Kosar days. Or since like 1990, it's been that interesting of a franchise. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Oh, by the way, another one too. This is too big of a line. I think the spread should be like 2.5 or 3. I'm not big on San Francisco as far as how everybody else is for the 8-note team. I think Seattle's the best team in the conference, and San Francisco might be third or fourth best. Anyway, that's just what I think. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.